The story I planned on reading next is Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. But first I think I'm going to read The Way of the Cosmos by me, Betty Herron. This book was written a few years ago, and so some of my beliefs have changed, and so I feel I was being a little harsh in this book at times, and I learned to accept people for who they are, and so some of this I may skip or read, but it's not exactly what I believe anymore. But that's just things about how people should keep themselves and do their teeth and things like that. But otherwise, it was written straight from my brain. I took it out and put it in here. And so it's not like a book that has perfect sentences and the way it's written for you to read and understand. It's just clunk, clunk, instant book, no editing, straight from the brain. So, hope you like it. The Way of the Cosmos by Betty Herron. There are times when you don't want to do anything. It's your day off and you don't want to do anything, or just sit on your bed and read a book. Sit on your bed and drink coffee and read a book. How nice would that be? I think it would be pretty nice, but I couldn't do that. Perhaps I should say, what is your goal? Do you have a goal? If I could live for 1,000 years, I tell myself I would be able to speak a lot of different languages. I would be a doctor, have a doctorate degree. I would be a philosopher, be able to play the guitar like awesome, play the piano like, nobody else. I would have all the time in the world to practice, but kind of scares me to think that if I lived in 1,000 years, I wouldn't be any different than I am right now, just a lot older. I think I would know more just because of life experiences. If I didn't do anything to push myself, when I say I mean the world. I mean people, all the people. I think that is just how we would be, the same as we are now. So that is where the importance of doing comes in. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow or next week. It's my day off. I'm going to rest. No. You know what? Your day off is really your day on. Your day off is the day you've got to live your life and do what you do. All the times you're at work are the times that you are owned by somebody else. You are selling that time for a place to live and a car to drive. Hopefully it's not just a car to drive to get back and forth to work. You have to sell some of your time. You do have to sell some of your time. Do you have to sell some of your time? Now that's a question. Okay, so I'm going to sell my time to the highest bidder so I don't have to work so long. I should set an amount of money that I want to make and find who is going to pay the most for that time. I don't want to work hours and hours and hours a day because I won't have any time for myself to do the things I want to do. Maybe I can say, the time that I spend at work is utilized. I'm selling my time to someone else, but I'm also using that time to learn something for myself. I'm learning something useful, like how to get along in society and things like that. So I'm getting something out of it, so it's not all just lost. I picked a job that's okay, that I don't mind doing. If I have a job like a toll booth operator where all I have to do is collect the money when the cars came through, I would have the rest of my time to study or do what I want to do. That would be a good job because I could study Spanish, I could study philosophy, I could study math, things like that. Things that I want to learn. So that would be a good job. Or if I found the job I have now, I walk around a lot. I do a lot of work, physical work, and it's not so hard that I'm too tired to get up when I get home, but it's enough so that I feel I've burned calories and I've done something useful for my body for the day, so it's not always necessary that I have to get to the gym every day. Some days at work are like going to the gym. So if I had a job where I was stuck in a little tool booth, sure, I would have this time to study, but I wouldn't have time to exercise. Then there are jobs that you don't have time for either. If you worked at a busy reception desk, you would always be busy with paperwork and greeting people, not a lot of exercise, no time to study, just work. So now with that kind of job, you're selling all your time. Are you getting paid as much? Are you being compensated for what you have to give up? Are you getting paid more because you are not getting anything out of it yourself? Probably not. You can deal with getting paid less if you can get something out of it for yourself, like study time or exercise. Now I've got to think about that. Think about what kind of job. Is there a job that I can do that I could sell my time for enough money to have the things in life I want and also have the time to do the things I want to do? I don't know if a job like that exists. Unless I make one up. How can I make a job that I get the freedom to study and exercise and still make the money? Well, I wonder if it could be something like being a model. Well, that pays good money, I guess. That's what I've always heard anyway. So you go to a photo shoot and you're done, right? You have time to study and you have to work out so you look good for the photo shoot. Okay, let's just pick that. Let's just pick that for fun. Just say, okay, so here's a job, a model. Now, I look at myself and say, well, I'm not pretty enough to be a model. I'm not tall enough to be a model. Okay, so that's me making excuses. Why can't I do that job? The dragon. And so, that's silly. That's silly. You cannot make excuses why you can't do something. Can you do anything? You just got to figure it out. So how can I be a model when I'm not tall and I'm not pretty? You might say that's impossible, but I can make myself pretty. Maybe. I don't know. That's something I've got to think about. Can I make myself pretty? Is there some magical way of making myself pretty? People say confidence. People say confidence is what people like. So if I develop confidence, perhaps that would make me more attractive. And then how do I get a job of being a model? Well, like any job, you've got to put in an application. You've got to do something to get that job. How do you put in an application to be a model? There are magazines where you don't have to be tall. There are so many people trying to get that job. How am I going to beat all those people trying to get that job? I know when I worked as a waitress, this man came in the restaurant almost every day asking for a job. No, the boss was not going to hire him. He looked scraggly and not too trustworthy, but he was consistent and persistent. He took his time to come in every day, trying to talk to the owner, trying to get a job, and you know what? It wasn't long before that guy was working there. So maybe that's the key. Confidence and consistency. So if I could pick a place, a magazine I want to be in, send an email or something, get professional pictures done and send them in. I could do this every week. Who knows? I'm an experimental type of person and I would like to do this as an experiment. I can take this as an experiment and see if this works or not. So now, how do I make myself confident? Well, it's hard for me because I was always taught when you walk straight up and down, you are snobbish. You are a snob and nobody likes you, and well, that's not my definition of confidence. But to me, they both look the same. So how can I be confident without being snobby? I have to figure that out. So figure out how to be confident, take pictures, send them in, try to get the job being a model. That's my goal. So instead of sitting on my bed reading a book, I'm here at the gym. I'm going to get as good looking as this body, this person can. I'm going to do everything I can to perfect the shell that I'm living in, to create a beautiful palace out of this body. Then once, well, I don't know if it'll ever be perfected, But when I feel confident that I look good enough, I will take that next step, send in those pictures, and see what happens. Okay, so what happened? Well, I was in the gym as I was listening to a song, and I was thinking, and the song, I don't even know what song it was or the words, but it reminded me of a special on Netflix I was watching, and it led me to an aha moment where everything focused on the realization that everything is the same. It's almost like I'm being led a certain way, and I fight it, because that is my natural instinct to go against the flow. But when I think about what I believe is right in life and what I preach to myself, well, it's all the same thing. It's weird because it's not something you can see or picture or not really even understand what I'm talking about. But what I see now is that everything is a certain way. It is the certain way. If you do things in a certain way, you can build anything you want. You can have what you want. You can make everything you want and all that. So what is that certain way? What is that certain way? Well, it's whatever is in your mind that shows that everything is the same as. You need to get in tune with that. And when you harmonize with that energy, which is strongest in you, that is when you get what you want. And you can see that energy. You can see that all around you. You just don't realize it because it's so close to you and so much a part of you. So if you start doing, preaching to yourself, being what it is that is predominant in your life and stop fighting it, that is where everything will come in tune, and that is where the creative energy will be able to flow. Full throttle, full open, so that is what you have got to do. You know, when you have a tuning fork and it vibrates at a certain frequency, that is your certain frequency. That is the frequency which makes everything real. When you come in perfect cadence with that vibration, that is when you can burst that chrysalis. Create that perfect energy. So at this single moment of my existence, I am here. I think of the cosmos. I look at this world as one grain of sand on a beach. I look at me as just another one of billions of Bettys, billions of particles that make up the universe. If I totally accept this and don't listen to others' beliefs and come to full understanding, full comprehension, let go of the doubt, let go of trying to find a different way, trying to find a better way, I just accept this way, then that life, my life, will come in tune. Just like tightening that guitar string and loosening that guitar string and then plucking it and trying to get that string in tune, and it comes in and out of tune, but I keep tightening and loosening it and I don't stop. Pretty soon that string is going to pop. But I just turn it, pluck it, know the sound. Know what that note sounds like, and when that string is in tune, leave it alone. Let that string be in perfect tune and create that beautiful song. Don't fight it. Don't think that string could sound better if I tighten it a little more, loosen it a little more. No, that string is perfect the way it is. That is what I've got to understand. I am perfect the way I am. I am in perfect tune with myself. The more I mess with it, the more stress and tension I put on it, I might just pop. And that is the confidence. That is where the confidence comes from. Being in tune with what you believe. Letting everything that you see and understand be your truth. People can say, no, that is not right. People can say, no, we are not just dirt under God's fingernails. But if I walk around knowing myself, that is the most important thing in this world. In my world, life is good, life is perfect, and when you fight it, that's where stress comes from. Relax. That is where peace comes from. peace and harmony. That goes together. Yes, it does.